Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dragon Spit Podcast, brought to you by Geek Impulse. We have SmokeScreen here with us.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Yes, and of course, Val from Because Geek.
Hi, everybody. Val from Because Geek, another Game of Thrones channel.
And we have William here, who supposedly is an expert about all things Game of Thrones related to the show.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but, I'll try.
So the reason why we're here, in 2 days, it's going to be the final episode of Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. And, that's intense. I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't a huge fan this season. I enjoy a lot of stuff that was going on, right? But I felt like it was overhyped just a little bit. But, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's definitely issues with this season. It's been very noticeable by a large part of the audience. And mainly the part of the audience that was the most invested into the show, they're the ones who are noticing it the most. And they're making their voice be heard. Have you guys heard about the change.org petition
Right.
that's going around?
Right.
Yeah, they wanted to remake the entire season.
Right. Yeah, just $15 million an episode. That's all.
Well, no one's expecting it to happen. It's just a statement, we want it to be heard. We want them to know how we feel.
How much have they raised so far? Have they raised any money at all?
It's getting pretty close to 1 million.
Oh, wow.
1 million signatures, yeah.
Yeah, signatures, right, yeah. It's just to send a message. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of staunch defenders this year have now backed off the D&D train, for sure. There's definitely some issues, but I also think there were a level of expectations that you just couldn't possibly meet. It's just all there is to it, especially for people like us who talk about it all the time on YouTube. After all the theory crafting and all this for years, just no way they could have ever met expectations for everyone.
What are your thoughts on exactly how it's gone so far? Let's touch on the first episode and from there.
I would say the first episode was all right. It still had some issues. It wasn't perfect, but it felt like season 7, where sure, it had some issues. It's still very enjoyable nonetheless. And then, yeah, so that's how I felt about episode 1.
It was similar. It was like, you're excited it's finally back after a 1.5 year wait, as we called it, the long night. And, we expected some drama. But then they I don't know, it's like they went overboard a little bit. And I guess now we know why, but it's once we got into the season where episode 3 was the big, because episode 2 was great. I think most people really enjoyed episode 2. You got a lot of payoffs that you needed, a lot of conversations to be had that you were waiting on, reunions, etc. Mm-hmm. And then the big thing for me, and I think a lot of people, was they had built this Night King Army of the Dead thread up from the prologue of the show, books, everything. And for it to be over in just one episode, and that's the end of it, was just, it was out of left field, just to be out of left field, I think. And that's kind of the problem. That's my main issue.
Well, I thought the same thing. I was like, all this build up, all this lead up, and I thought, he smiled. Spoilers for anybody, I guess, who hasn't seen it yet. I don't know who that would be, but for it to lead up, and I guess I just expected more from the Night King. Just him smiling, especially even towards the end of the episode with Bran. I thought he would at least say something.
Right. The mountain was harder to kill than the Night King. The mountain.
Yeah, that's the joke everyone's making.
I will say this. I didn't want him to speak. I think that would have ruined. I don't care if you had Morgan Freeman voicing over. I think that would have ruined the character. But yeah, the mountain was harder to kill than him. And I expected, I predicted, and I think a lot of people did, that Valyrian Steel and Dragonglass would not work on him because he's got a piece in his chest. Mm-hmm. And then I thought we had the Jon Snow 1v1 oh shit moment where they fight and it doesn't work and he got to figure something else out, whatever. And then it's just like, okay, no, Arya jumps out of nowhere. And I had no problem. Let me say that. I have no problem with Arya being the one to deal the fatal blow. It wasn't ever about Jon being a Azor Ahai or whatever, but yeah, it was just very odd. And it was, like you were cheering in the moment, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
we didn't get the
it.
answers. That's it? It's over?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was too easy. For me, it was mostly, the biggest disappointment was just the amount of time that we invested into this plot. Like, of 8 years. Eight freaking years. Like, it wasn't just the 2 years we waited for this season. It was 8 years because these guys were shown in the very first freaking episode, the very first scene of the first season of the first episode. And it was a huge setup, a huge thing that the story promised us would pay off. And it didn't, and it was the most disappointing thing, in my opinion, out of the entire season. Like, honestly, after that, I'm enjoying the other episodes more now because I'm not expecting anything from them anymore. It was episode 3 just broke me so much that I was like, okay, I'll just take whatever I can get now.
Well, I assumed Arya was disguised as a white. Maybe she killed one, took its face, became one.
I had a friend who actually thought, he was absolutely convinced that was what happened. And he was surprised that no one else was talking about this because it seemed so obvious to him. But I can't remember right now the argument against it. There was a good one against it. But, I mean, it's the fact that you can't really, like, if you kill a white, I think it would be kind of hard to take a white's face.
Right. And you got to find one with skin, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that is true. But I like from that episode, I like the memes that came out. I don't know if you saw it where, right? Like, minor characters were getting killed almost instantaneously by the whites, but then the other ones, like Jaime Lannister, they're all, zombie hugs. Right, exactly. They're all piling up on them, and they're not dying, but yet other characters just.
The memes have been priceless this year. I will say that.
That is the best way to cope. Definitely.
Exactly.
I know, William. What do you think?
I mean, as far as the third episode goes, or throughout the entire season, I felt like it was building up where the Night King was going to be more tougher than what it was, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal because, in my opinion, it was a whole build-up throughout the entire series of the Night King and everything else. But he's not really the main person. It was Cersei to begin with because she's the one who's been trying to take the throne the entire time. So I assumed that they were going to have it where it was going to be something worse than what it was in this past episode. Because to me, there was pretty much nothing. They pretty much got wiped out.
Cersei didn't even have a wildfire trick up her sleeve.
Yeah, I expected that. Although you did see some green flames going up in the city.
Yeah, but I anticipated, like, if anybody was going to kill the people in King's Landing, it was going to be her. Like, she was going to sacrifice her people with wildfire just to protect the throne.
Herself. Yeah. I expected something like that too. But
and then when I started seeing the wildfire come up, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be it." But no, it's just because Daenerys is going nuts, and she's the one.
No, that's a really good point because that's what everyone expected from Cersei. Cersei's the type of person of like, if I can't have it, no one else can have it. So when she was, if she knew there was a chance for her to lose, which she should have known, she should have had that backup plan of like, self-destruction type of thing. And yeah, I definitely expected that from Cersei. So it was really underwhelming to see her not do anything and just stand there and cry.
To me, that was like totally out of character.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand she's emotional and everything, but come on, she's a fighter. She does whatever she can. Mm-hmm. And what do you think? Like, do you think they're still alive, or do you think they're all dead? Like maybe Jaime shielded her enough to where she lives.
No.
Yeah, no, I'd say
that was the entire building collapsing on top of them. There's no way.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, they're gone. We're no more. I don't even know if to expect a twist or not. I think that was the twist. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with her finding a little bit of humanity there at the last moment. Mm-hmm. And I know they didn't do the Valonqar in the show. That's fine as far as because I think we all expected someone, Jamie, to kill her. Actually, instead of a secondary, behold the Valonqar, it's a stone. Another great meme, one of my favorite. But yeah, I'm fine with that, I guess. But it just felt like everything was out of order this season. Everything was backwards.
I feel like they kind of rushed it,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, no doubt. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no way they could have rushed it. They had how many years to finish this entire thing?
Year and a half or something.
Yeah, I mean,
originally it was 7 seasons, and then HBO wanted 10, or George R. R. Martin wanted 10, and then they talked him into 8. So they were planning on getting out sooner.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't understand what happened in that writing room, man. Like, I just wish I was there to know what was going through their minds when they were writing this. It's
right.
Like, did they actually think it was good, or did they just not care?
Well, it's like episode 2, they cared.
Yeah.
How do you go from episode 2 to 3 and 5?
I will say, episode 2 was written by Brian Cogman, and Brian Cogman cares. Like, I can tell, like, when you watch I don't know if it was the Inside the Episode or the Game Revealed video, but when you see him talking about the characters, he's about to cry. Like, he's literally like, I care so much about these characters, I really wanted to, like, do them justice. He's, like, tearing up when he's saying this. They're like, right. Dude, this guy cares, but I don't know about David and Dan. I just can't tell what because they don't show up to interviews all that much. They just hide. Like, like, what are you doing?
They're afraid of the fandom. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, they probably are right about now, for sure.
Yeah, we probably won't see them for about a year or so.
They did say that they were gonna watch the last not watch it, but when the episode airs, they're gonna be far away in an undisclosed location, drinking a lot of alcohol, and far away from the internet. They said so, and then they were asked, "Are you gonna look at like Twitter and stuff like after?" And they were like, "Not directly. They're not gonna do it themselves. They're just gonna let their another employee do it for them, and she's gonna tell them what's happening because they don't want to look at it." And it's like they know, man. They know. They must.
They know what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're not going to be watching it, then they already know they messed up before they even aired the episode.
Exactly. They already know. I mean, it's like you said with the petition and all that. I mean, it's the most hyped and now the most hated ever. I mean, broke all the records for viewership and broke all the records for ratings as far as being the lowest rated of all time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, another reason why I have you here too, Val, is because you helped co-author a book, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Right. Yes. Yes, with Chris too. Yes.
Yeah. So why don't you guys tell us more about this book? I'd love to hear about it.
I'll let you start, Chris.
Okay. Yeah. We were contacted by another fellow YouTuber and decided to get together with several other YouTubers, and I believe we have some podcasters and professionals in various fields to talk about the aspect of pop culture. So not about the show itself, but just how it's affected pop culture in different ways. So we all did one chapter apiece, and it's called The Thrones Effect, how Game of Thrones conquered pop culture. Val and I both did one chapter, and mine in particular was about essentially the escapism aspect of fantasy and these kind of big pop culture shows that people delve into. I kind of use the example of my own channel as far as why I started it, to kind of escape into this fantasy world and delve into it. But at the same time, it's really about connecting with other people. Because when you have something this deep, like Game of Thrones or whatever it is, you want other people to experience it. So it's like I said in the book, it has an aspect of a social vampirism. You get made, you get turned, and you want to turn other people so they can experience the pain with you, and talk about it. So anyway, in my chapter, that's just kind of a bird's eye view of it. But I use that example of my own example of starting the channel to have a conversation about it, because and my family and friends didn't necessarily watch it. So I go over that kind of stuff and how it's kind of created this awesome community and all that good stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, my chapter is about basically what I do on my channel, which is filming news, reporting filming news, and sleuthing, doing sleuthing on those filming news. And I explain how that entire part of the fandom was created, how it started, how it grew, how it changed. I tell you the entire story of everything that happened, how like entire plots started to leak and things like that, and how it just made everything so much bigger than it was before, and it even started affecting the production itself, because they needed to take, you know, higher security measures when they were recording, and you know, they had like, there were, I don't know if it was true, but there were rumors of like them having trained eagles that would take down drones and everything. And, like I mean, we made an impact. Like everyone that was into those spoilers and filming news and pictures from the set and things like that, like we really did, and it was quite the experience. So yeah, it's really cool to look back on it and see how it all happened.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and I think that's one of the reasons why I started Geek Impulse. And it's not really about me, but I just, real quick, the reason being is because we want to preserve pop culture, because a lot of these things were never popular before, and it's just increasingly becoming more popular and mainstream, which could be good or bad. But I think what it's doing is it's allowing more people to do their passion, live by their passion, but also escape into a world that allows them to, you know, feel some type of way when their life maybe is just a little bit too hectic today. And so they come to you, Chris or Val, and you guys go to your guys' YouTube channels and get some escapism, as you said. And for me, that's what I want to do, preserve pop culture indefinitely. And I think that's why I was like, oh, when I heard about this book, I was like, oh, that's cool, because what you're really doing is you're helping to solidify, you know, the last 8 years of Game of Thrones, but really the last 8 years of this growth of pop culture.
Yes.
So how do you guys feel, whichever one of us talk first, but how do you guys feel about, you know, being a part of that? I mean, this book isn't, unless they burn all books, which we hope they don't, right? So, but you have the video backups. But how do you guys feel about that, where you're really, you know, putting yourselves in pop culture essentially forever?
Yeah, just to kind of go off what you're saying, I think it's made it kind of cool to be a nerd. You know, we can call a nerd or a geek. You know, it used to be like a guilty pleasure if you like fantasy or reading this kind of stuff or whatever. But now it's the mainstream thing because of, you know, the community and YouTube channels and bloggers and podcasters, etc. So I think it's opened up a whole new world where people before, I mean, I have specific examples in my life where friends, I don't care about wizards and dragons and shit. You know, it's like, okay, just give it, you know, sit down for 1 hour. And you know, in this case, as far as God itself. But yeah, I mean, people think it's kind of a cliche thing, I guess, where it's like, nah, I'm not into all that fantasy dragons and magic spells and what, you know, waving magic wands or whatever it may be. But this is really, it's really made it okay, I think. It's almost like it's okay now to openly enjoy, you know, this type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, like for me, I could have never imagined in 1,000 years that I'd be doing something like this before. Even when I started watching Game of Thrones, like, I mean, I started watching Game of Thrones, well, obviously when the first season came out, and then it wasn't up until after season 5 that I started thinking of making videos about it. And, like, it started as a hobby, as everyone does, and then it turned into something big. And, like, after that, it was just, the whole experience was unique, once in a lifetime type of thing. And just the feeling of not only having a community to talk to about this stuff, but also having other people who are doing the same thing as you, like other YouTubers. That's like the best friendships that you can make, because you understand each other so well, what you're going through and all that.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, when we went to Con of Thrones and we were all together in person, that was like one of the best things ever for me. And yeah, it's just it's a crazy experience and really, really cool.
So what are your guys' take on the fandom? I mean, how have you seen it evolve? Where do you think this fandom is going to go now that Game of Thrones is winding down?
It's hard to say with this season. Because it's split everybody in you know, in half, where it's almost come full circle. It started with books versus show people. I guess you could say book snobs or something, but The people that took pleasure in knowing what was coming, but then they hated the show for whatever reason because it wasn't in the books or whatever. And then now, I don't know, with this season, now even everybody's just saying, was it worth it, this whole thing? Because do we really like tragedies, or do we want a happy ending? Because everybody's always, the George R. R. Martin style is not happy endings, and great characters, but I think it's making people rethink that.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah, definitely. And that makes me wonder, like, has this always been supposed to be a tragedy? Like, is this what we've been setting up to finish with? And yeah, it really makes you question, like, what you've been watching this whole time. Is it, like, it's not impossible to think that it was a tragedy the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, they did mention that it was going to be...
Bittersweet.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
The ending, which we'll find out on Sunday. What is kind of your predictions for that? What's your take from that? What could really be bittersweet other than Arya and Gendry being on the Iron Throne? I mean,
I agree. I don't know how we can get sweet out of it. At this point, I don't know that there's any sweet. I said in the live stream after the show Sunday, that was the only thing I could think of. Maybe where the Hound and Gendry scene, which was a great scene, by the way, where she finally let go of her list, which we thought she did last season. And she maybe goes back home now and says, "You know what, Gendry, I love you." I don't know other than that. I mean, there's just nothing good that can come out of this. It's just all going to be bitter. So.
Yeah, I can't tell what they can do. I mean, it's taken all of the predictions out of me, really. It's just that I can't imagine what they're gonna do in this. And I know there's leaks out there too that anyone can read and see what's gonna happen. But I want to stay away.
Yeah, I mean, as far as predictions, it's obvious. I think it's obvious. It's hard to trust myself now, but but I mean, it's obvious they're going towards a Dany versus Jon thing, and there's nothing good that can come out of that. There's just nothing. There's not going to be any reconciliation. She's will try to justify it, and I don't think they can let her live after this. She's irredeemable.
The way I see it, John's definitely I'm pretty sure he's gonna kill Grey Worm and Daenerys both. The way he looked at Grey Worm as he first, stabbed the guy right there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was not good at all.
Mm-hmm. I saw someone say that Grey Worm might go to tell Daenerys that Jon was telling everyone to fall back instead of attacking. And that might cause some trouble between Daenerys and Jon.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. Arya still has to fulfill her prophecy too, right? So,
boy, that's the thing. It's like Arya. Are they gonna give Arya another major kill like that?
Yeah, I don't know about the whole. He's talking about the other cuts. Well, that's the thing. The show didn't do Purple Eyes, I guess.
Yeah.
So they tried that with contacts and never worked. So I can't see them giving. I think it's got to be Jon. I really do. I think because me and Val did prediction videos, and I still believe that is the aspect of. I think Jon has to live with whatever happens. I think he has to that's his kind of his penance. He's got to live with whatever the fallout of all this and suffer through it.
The only thing I don't understand is what are they going to do with Drogon and Dany's army? Because, I mean, they can kill Dany, they can kill Grey Worm, but, how are they going to kill the entire army, I don't know. Are we going to have another battle? I don't think so.
Yeah, I doubt it.
There's not enough people for that much of a battle. It'd pretty much be Jon and them are wiped out because he has... His army wasn't big to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I don't know how they're going to resolve that. But
I don't know. Do the Unsullied them still follow her? Do they agree with what she just did? I mean, they did it too. They took their cue from her. But, does Jon... I don't know, have an unburnt moment with Drogon, so they follow him. I don't know. I don't
right.
About this now.
Well, I mean, it was a telling scene when Grey Worm threw the only, what was it called? It was her shackle, right, that he threw into the fire that Daenerys gave him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so my thing was, that's why I was kind of confused because I felt like he was upset with Daenerys at that point, and I feel like when he looked back at Jon, he saw a guy who was a real leader. That's how I took it. He's like, but he's not going to stop doing what he's doing. He has to continue to fight on because that's his queen. That's who his orders are supposed to be. But he saw that what it was is that Jon was trying to protect people, which is what the Unsullied believed she was doing at the beginning, when at least she was. But it's come full circle to where now she doesn't even care who it is. She's just going to kill everybody who stands in her way, even innocent people, just so she can get her end goal. And I feel like that's what he did. He looked at Jon and was like, wow, like that's what somebody should really do. Know when to chill for a moment instead of just going all out like a wrecking ball, all Miley Cyrus on everybody. And, that's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be, but Grey Worm did have the bloodlust as well, so I think he's lost all hope since Missandei's execution. But the other thing I think that will trigger this Jon versus Dany is, Dany knows Sansa betrayed her, and that's going to be a big thing. Mm-hmm. Jon will be pissed off too about it because she snitched, but she's going to threaten her with death now, fire and blood. So
do you think it'll be then like a repeat of Aerys asking for someone's head and then someone else killing him because he asked for someone's head? Like Dany will ask for Sansa's head and then Jon will be like, well, I'm sorry, stab.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, similar. I think that's where they're going. I can't see any other way.
Oh my god.
So maybe it's one of those cliche things where she and him lean in to kiss, and then he's like, stab.
Oh my god.
I hope not. That'll. I think that right there would ruin it even more than what has already happened.
But can it really be ruined anymore?
It can, technically, right?
Yeah,
it could get worse.
I don't know.
I know. What I keep hearing from people who know the leaks is that we have no idea this is going to be worse. Like,
oh, God.
Yeah, it is going to be worse.
How? I don't know how it can, but
I mean, as far as the leaks go, I've read a couple of them, and none of it was right.
Oh yeah, well, there's one that was correct. The one that everyone's following now is like, oh, this guy was correct. Like everything that happened in episode 4 and 5, this guy guessed. It was just one person out of like the hundreds of leaks that were out there.
So he was probably the guy sitting on the mountaintop with the camera watching what was going on.
Yeah,
he threw his drone up there, but it was attacked by a hawk or eagle.
Just a cameraman's cousin. That's somewhere.
I mean, it could have been attacked by like a raven or something, right?
Attack ravens, yeah. And that's what I felt like. What the hell was Bran doing that whole episode? I know we're kind of backtracking a little bit, where he just sat there and did nothing.
Yeah, he was just taking a nap. That's always going.
I mean, he was watching, wasn't he?
I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we expected so much more from him too.
We expected a big mental battle with him, the Night King, him to do something. Because Benjen said, "You'll be there and you'll be ready. Ready for what? To watch him with crows again?"
Yeah.
For fucking 30 minutes? I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I was sitting there as I was watching this, as the Night King was walking up to Bran. I was sitting there waiting for Arya to pull off his face and just stab the Night King in a different way, as if he was Bran Stark the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because we've definitely seen live people wearing other people's faces. So I assumed it was possible, but...
Yeah, I mean, I understand that a mental battle is difficult to portray on TV. So, I mean, I'm kind of okay that that didn't happen. But at the same time, I kind of wanted more of like, higher stakes and higher, like, consequences. So, I feel like someone should have given their life, like a major character that was in that Godswood should have given it, other than Theon. He didn't, like, really give his life for this.
Yeah, he could have just said, Theon, thank you, you're a good man, run that way.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you gotta die.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, someone should have given their life to kill the Night King. And I think it should have been Bran. Like, I would have been completely okay with Bran dying. I would have been destroyed inside, but I mean, like, I would have been like, this is Game of Thrones, this is what you have to pay to defeat the bad guy.
Well, see, that's the thing is, it's supposed to be Game of Thrones, but I felt like it wasn't Game of Thrones. I mean, it was, but it just, all the other seasons, you would expect something like that, and this season was like, not there.
Yeah, originally it was Game of Thrones, but not... not story-wise.
I mean, I expected so many people to die in that battle.
Oh yeah.
And then it was like, what, 4 or 5 people that were main characters?
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't even main characters. They were main supporting characters.
I know in a zombie apocalypse now, just lay down and cry. Apparently that works. I mean, just lay down and cry and don't move, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. Somebody will save you. They'll die, but at least you'll live.
Exactly.
I mean, I hope we see these people again. Like, you know, maybe Sam will see, like, in an epilogue or something. Like, Sam, what is he doing? What is Tormund doing? What is Davos doing? Like, all these people afterwards. Not, you know, Bran. Like, what is Bran going to be doing? Is he just...
Yeah, there's, like, so much that's going to be left unsaid, right? So, what do you think... So, what do you think is going to happen? They've talked about prequels, then they talked about it's off, and now they're saying it's on again. So what do you think we can expect from more Game of Thrones, or not at all?
Yeah, I do think we will get an epilogue-style scene where we, like Val just said, we'll catch up maybe, I don't know if they do weeks down the road or months or maybe years, I have no idea, but I expect we'll see maybe what Sam and Gilly are up to, and John, whatever he ends up, and a few others, but as far as the prequels go, I think Blood Moon is still on, the Long Night or whatever they're calling it. But the other one, that's the working title now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Of the Long Night one. So they're filming that now. But the other one that was the one Cogman was working on with George R. R. Martin he's gone. Mm-hmm. He's out. Cogman is now out apparently. So that's all I know as far as that goes.
Oh, yes, they're about to film the pilot for that Long Night one, and that still doesn't confirm that it's going to happen. They could still cancel it, but yes, they're filming that pilot.
Yeah, I think that'll get greenlit, though. I think they've got a pretty big cast already, but yeah, apparently I'm not sure the details of the other one, but whatever they're working on together.
I've got to admit, like, as much as I dislike this season, I'm probably going to watch the prequels. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to watch them, you know.
I think that's a good question, too, and I wanted to touch on that. You know, you guys do multiple things, but a lot of your channel has been surrounded with Game of Thrones, right, primarily. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what's next for you guys? You know, still whatever Game of Thrones stuff there is, obviously, but... Are you going to expand? What are you going to expand into? What other pop culture things are you guys interested in that you're actually going to be giving your audience? You know what I mean?
Mm. Chris.
Val? Oh, me? No, yeah, I'll definitely, you know, there'll be a couple months of kind of wrapping Game of Thrones up. I'll definitely watch the prequel. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's just a completely different time, and I do want to know those answers. If we get some more in-depth answers about, you know, what happens, who the Night King is or whatever. So I'll definitely be into that. But I've always done Star Wars stuff. I did Walking Dead before. Now it's actually good again. I kind of enjoy Walking Dead again. So I may get back into that. But the occasional movie review, stuff like that. And I'm also writing a book. So I'm hoping to somehow integrate that somehow in video format somehow. I'm not sure how to do that yet. But yeah, I mean, I'll still do... And I have a few other things I enjoy. They're not as in depth. Like, you know, for example, I love the Lucifer on Netflix now.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah,
it's a really good show, but you don't have to get so in depth with, you know, history and lore. Yeah. But I've always liked kind of the supernatural, angelic stuff. So stuff like that, I'll start doing, as well as I have a weekly podcast that will keep going, and that'll become a more frequent thing as well.
Well, I'm going in a bit of a different direction, and I think that's what's cool about Game of Thrones ending as well, at least in my opinion, is that every Game of Thrones YouTuber is going in a different direction. Like, it's not everyone is doing the same thing anymore, and that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I am going back to doing YouTube as a part-time thing, as a hobby again. I think... I've had a really good 4 years, and I'm ready for a change and something a bit different, you know. I really miss the going to an office and being around people, and it's just, it's just, you know, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a YouTuber, obviously. There's great things about it. It's just,
what are you saying, Val? What are you saying?
No, I'm damn it. I personally want to change, but I will never be able to stop doing YouTube completely. So what I can tell people is, because I I always change my mind about the things that I want to do. So everything I say, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But what I can definitely promise is that whatever I do with my channel will always be about medieval fantasy. Because that is the one thing that I know for a fact is my passion, and that's the reason I like Game of Thrones is because it was medieval fantasy, and I want to do more of like the writing craft side of things and get into world building and try to teach others how to write and how to world build using what we have in pop culture as examples. And something like that. And also get into the real life Middle Ages, which I'm really interested in. And I want to explore that as well. So and learn more about it. And yeah, making videos about it is a good way to learn. And yeah, so hopefully that's what people want to see.
That's awesome. And, I'm sure people are going to definitely be looking forward to that. I know I will, aside from doing this, I'm also a fan of you guys. I enjoy your guys' videos as well. So, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to what's going there. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I appreciate you guys being here. It's been very awesome.
No, I enjoyed it. Appreciate you having me on. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Other than that, I guess we'll go ahead and end it there. So thank you guys again for being on and being a part of this and allowing me to have the honor of, talking to you guys.
Huge thank you to you, Joshua and William. Thank you so much for having us, guys. And this was great, as always. And definitely let's do it again.
Cool. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.